Hi, this is Mary Kay. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to paint two cards, some of my favorite subjects in little cards. So this is a piece of Arches paper. The decal's on the side. It's 7 by 10, and it's been folded over and taped down the sides with just cheap masking tape. So what I'm going to do on this first one is wet the paper. This is one of my favorites. I use salt, and it makes little flowers. Right now in Half Moon Bay, all of the trees are blooming, and I always feel so inspired when I see that. So I just wet that. I'm going to take a Viva paper towel and wipe my tape. What I'm going to do now is pick either Permanent Rose or Antwerp Blue. I think I'm going to do Antwerp Blue today. I'm just going to, I haven't painted in a week, so my paints are a little dry. So I'm making a nice Antwerp Blue petal. The two colors that work best with this are Antwerp Blue and Permanent Rose because they work with the salt the best. So now I'm just going to paint this on here, kind of thick, but I don't want it to be solid, perfectly solid. I want there to be little areas of lightness and darkness. Looks like there's a little hair right there. I'm not painting these lines perfectly straight across either. The sun's coming in this morning through my window, so that's why you're getting that. Oh, I can't get that hair up. I'm gonna put one more little streak right in there. Okay, I'm gonna try and get that hair out. Otherwise it will just be part of my painting. You can't get it with your fingers because you'll scratch the paper. So now you can see that the pigment is granulating into the paper, into the little, we've got a little glare, sorry about that. Okay, so you put the salt on when the paper has that shine. You can see it, I'm tilting it. And I use margarita salt because it's got a nice, it's big enough to make nice big blossoms. So that's about all I'm going to use. I always tell the story of my friend Helen, who was 93 when she passed away, and she painted with me for about 15 years. She would use all the salt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the salt like wider at the bottom. And then I'm going to kind of make it not go in just a straight line, and it's going to get thinner as it goes to the top. And it's going to kind of tilt over there. And that's the first step for this painting, because that one just is, the salt is going to make little white. This is my cat Woodstock. Hi Woodstock. Now what I'm going to do is trace this calla lily. Excuse me. Thank you. So I made a picture that will fit my card. I taped it down, and this is water-soluble tracing paper. So I'm going to take my brush, my pencil brush, and I'm going to trace around this calla lily. I love calla lilies. They're all out right now. If anybody wants some, let me know. I've been helping. Hello, Woodstock. I can't see the picture. Keep going. He's got a huge primordial pouch. Okay, and then here. here, and here, and the stamen. That's all I need to draw. There it is. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to paint the background sort of dark. I'm going to use, I'm going to use neutral tint, and I'm going to put a little bit of purple into it. Some violet, I mean, extra violet. I'm not even going to wet this. I'm just going to go around the edge. And try to make this as, not so much as smooth as I can, but I don't want to have any little I don't want to have any spots where you can see that I was painting. I don't know what that line was. I don't want you to know where I stopped and started each time. So I got to kind of keep painting fast from this edge. I love that little tip going up. All right, let's see what that dark right there. Okay, it's trying to. Now I got to get that all painted in so you can't see any edges. Okay, that needs to dry, and this needs to keep working so that I have beautiful blossoms. I think I'm going to hit them both with a blow dryer. Now with the salt one, it's really easy to finish up. I'm just going to take my brush and I'm going to get a nice dark brown. I'm going to use sepia, just pure sepia right out of the tube. And I need to figure out where I'm going to put my stem and my branches. And I can kind of see it coming up here, and then it stops. The little white spots are the blossoms, and it picks up here, and then it can come through here, and then maybe kind of like little ones. And the thing to remember is that they are thicker, branches are thicker at the bottom and skinnier at the top. So here's my thick branch at the bottom. And then it'll be thinner right in that little spot. Thinner. Where's it going to go? This way? Getting skinnier. Uh-oh, I made it fatter. And now I can make little branches coming off. I can go to a smaller brush. I think I'm asking too much of that brush. I'll make a little dip Catch that? Maybe this one will just break off. I don't have to include a branch to every single blossom, but I do want to make it look like it's going to most of them. So I'm only painting in branches where there's no little white petals. Like that one there, maybe it's just falling down. It doesn't need to be connected. One last little trick to this is you can go in with a credit card and scrape one side of the, as long as it's not dried yet. It's got to be a bit damp, and it'll make it look like it's got a little light on that side. You can also kind of scrape in some lines with your credit card. So that's it. Then you take off the tape and you have this little watercolor. So simple and such, to me, I love this so much because I think because my watercolor teacher Evelyn had a painting that she had done using this technique when she had been with her husband, and it was on the wall and it wasn't for sale, and it was right in front of where I sat in her class. So I just think they're simple and beautiful, just like that. That's all it takes. Now this one is dry, and what I need to do is color in, shadow underneath this right in here, and I need to put in the green on the stem and the stamen. It has to be yellow. So I think I'll just start with the shadow because it's going to be the same color that I used in the background. And what I'm going to do is just paint right here with very pale paint, right to that edge and down to here. And then with water, I'm going to paint this in. So all it did was just the lightest shadow. And the same thing up here. Pale paint and then just add water. This is called a disappearing edge. It's one of the most important techniques that you can use in watercolor. So it's just pale paint and then it goes to nothing. And then there's a little bit here. See it? It's right in the center of that. So it doesn't, it's kind of just in the middle here, right here. And then let me make that disappear out to the edges. And that's hopefully making this look round, or, you know, have some depth to it. I can see my pencil marks. So they're water soluble, so I just go in with a little water and make those disappear. And then down here I want green. So the way that I make green is I use yellow. My yellow is Hansa Yellow Medium from Daniel Smith. And I put a little bit of, that's a lot, Antwerp into it, and it just makes all those different colored greens right there. So my stem is green. It goes up to where? Right about there. And I'm going to go darker green down here, especially on the right side. And that'll make it look like it's kind of got sunlight on it. Or now here I'm going to just put a little bit of extra yellow. So it kind of goes up into here a little bit. Okay, and then the last step is that stamen, which is not that bright a yellow, but I think I'm going to start with the yellow anyway. I'm going to paint my stamen nice and bright yellow. And the stamen are a continuation of the stem. So make sure that the stem and the stamen are in a straight line, or if it's a curved line, an obvious spot that where it will go. So what happened here was I had that line, the water soluble, and it blended when I got it wet, and it made that nice little shadow. I like that. I'm gonna use just a tiny bit of burnt sienna and my sepia from that last painting, and I'm just going to darken the right side of this stamen with like little dots to try to make it look like it's also round. I'm going to go in darker on the far right side of that with sepia, Hello Woodstock, like that. And that is the calla lily. I take the tape off. Now I want to show you, I didn't sign this front of this. I can go in with a pen, permanent pen that is not water soluble. So permanent in two ways. One, it lasts forever, or at least 100 years. And the other way is that it doesn't come out when it gets wet. So, all right, so see how simple that was. I know you're thinking, oh yeah, I make it look simple, but really it is. Okay, now since these are for an auction at the senior center, what I like to do is go on the back and just make a little, oh, sorry about that sunlight right there. Make a little picture of this on the other side. Just like a little, like, I'm just gonna like draw a circle. And then just put like a tiny little calla lily. If I can do it freehand. And on this one, I'll just put in a little blue circle. Maybe I should do these like with a, bring my thing that's round. That's a big blob of salt. I kind of just basically do a little picture in the back. I should bring my little thing that has a whole bunch of circles. We can make really nice circles back here. It's almost like a yin and the yang. I like it. This one I'm not doing so perfectly. When my son got married, they picked 50 watercolor cards of mine, and on the back I made a little picture that said, you know, their names and that I had painted them, and they used them as their thank you cards. It was really nice. Okay, so I need a little green at the stem here. And just a tiny bit of shadowing. The super light shadowing. Didn't have to be perfect. And this one is my salt even working. Oh, ever so little bit. That's going to be good enough because this is a demonstration for you. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it with pencil because I have my pencil here, but I usually do this with a nice pen. I write original watercolor. Be surprised how many people don't realize that these are real paintings by Mary Kay. Do I have room for Jolly? Sure. You could even give it a name. So then you have a little card.